Hello Year 9. This lesson is lesson 4 and 5 in your booklet. It's all about disease caused by microorganisms. We've given you 2 lessons to do this work because it is a research-based lesson. So basically there are 4 types of microbe, and those microbes are called bacteria, viruses, fungi and protozoa. What I would like you to do in your booklet, turn to page 22. Page 22 has got the lists of the names of some bacteria, viruses, fungi and protozoa, some diseases of these microorganisms that I want you to do some research on. So basically I want to know what the name of the organism is that causes each of the diseases. I want to know what some of the symptoms of the diseases are. I want to know what the long-term effects could be of having that particular disease and some of the treatments and prevention of the spread of these diseases. So I want to know how they spread and how we treat it and as I said, the names of the particular organisms that cause them. Okay, so pause the video. You can produce this as a PowerPoint, and if you save it in Hub, you can then upload it, okay, on Study Zone, where it's got the little blue icon that says Lessons 4 and 5 Research on Disease, okay. If you click on that, it will allow you to upload your work, okay, to that particular area. Thank you. The second part of this lesson is looking at the next page in your booklet. So these are the bacterial diseases, these are the viral diseases, these are the fungal, and these are the protozoans. Okay, so we're starting to look at how microbes actually spread. I would like you, if you can, for the very basic, to be able to identify the different ways in which diseases can spread. For amber, to know how microbes can enter the body to cause a disease in the first place. And for green, for the higher levels, suggest some ways of preventing these diseases spreading. So this is very topical, obviously, at the moment with what we're going through with COVID. There's some keywords down here at the bottom. We can see disease spread, pandemic, which is what we're in at the moment, okay, which means global, okay, spread of a disease. If it's called an epidemic just spreads in one country, in one area, okay. So, little starter activity. Can you match the disease to the microbe which causes it? Pause the video and just write this either on a scrap bit of paper or on the back cover of your book, okay, as a little starter exercise. Okay, so athlete's foot. You may have experienced this, very itchy, it's not very nice. That's actually caused by a fungus that grows in between your toes. You don't have little mushrooms and toadstools growing between your toes, okay, but it is a fungus. Flu is a virus, so it could be any one of these 2. Common cold, okay, is also a virus. AIDS is the HIV virus, so hopefully you found that out from your research. Food poisoning is caused by bacteria, and cancer is not caused by a microbe at all. So we're going to be starting to look at how diseases spread today. This is your homework, which I would like you to complete for your next lesson, and it's really doing a little bit of information about a couple more bacteria and viruses. So there's 2 bacteria, gonorrhea and salmonella, okay, and there's 3 viruses. HIV and measles both affect humans. Rose black spot only affects plants, roses, okay. So just so that you know, it's not just animals that experience bacteria and viruses, so do plants. They are infected too. So this is on page 23 in your booklet, and as I say, that's for next lesson when we will go over it. The second homework, as well, also for next week, okay, is about fungi and protists. So we're doing a little bit of research on the bacteria, the viruses, the fungi and the protists, okay. So there's questions about the disease that affects the plants, the rose black spot, and there's questions about malaria, okay. right, which causes our protists. We've got keywords down here, okay, so some of those words might be used to help you fill in this closed procedure that we see here. Okay, thank you very much. So, looking at the images now, we're now on page 25 about how do diseases spread. We've got 5 pictures here, okay, showing you some of the different methods of transmission or spread of disease. So what I would like you to do is to write a description what the method of transmission is and try and provide 2 examples of diseases that are spread in each way. You have a go at doing that first, and then I will go over the answers with you. So this top one, we would describe this as spread by aerosols. This is exactly how COVID-19 spreads, okay, which is why we've all got to wear our masks and socially distance and keep washing our hands, okay. So COVID-19 aerosols, okay, but also you could have the common cold or flu, okay, would be equally fine. So anything where there's coughs, sniffles, sneezes, that type of thing. The second one is what we call contact. And again, COVID-19 can spread by this, which is why we've got to socially distance, but we want to try and give some different ones. So diseases that are spread by contact, you can have things like measles, okay? So children, little children, normally if they get measles or chickenpox, okay, it can spread by them playing with one another, okay, and by contact. And the other one, okay, is things like cold sores. So cold sores, if you have a cold sore on your lip and you touch it and then you touch somewhere else on the other side of your lip, you can sometimes spread it. This one is by water, by contaminated water, okay? And contaminated water, we're fortunate in the developing world to actually have fresh, clean water. We take it for granted that we can turn the tap on and we don't catch any nasty illnesses. But in some countries, they don't have clean water. So things like cholera is a disease that can be spread by contaminated water. And you can have things like diarrhea and dysentery, okay, that can result from contaminated water. Okay, so they're the 2 that I want you to think about in particular. The next one is animals. Now, animals can spread disease, okay? If they bite you, they carry fleas as well that might spread disease. So we've got things like rabies, okay, and things like the Black Death, which they think was spread by the fleas on the rats, okay? And then we've got food. And what we mean by food is food that is either been contaminated by somebody not washing their hands, for example, is raw, or uncooked, okay? And so things like food poisoning, salmonella from eggs and chicken, poisoning, apologies for rough writing, okay, salmonella and sickness, okay, will result from food poisoning, okay. So make sure you fill that in, how do diseases spread. So they are sometimes called the modes of transmission. And then we've got some images on the next page, page 26, talking about symptoms of disease. So how do we know when we're unwell? Well, generally we don't feel great. We don't feel our usual selves. And we say the signs of a disease are called the symptoms. So looking at these images, can you see if you can identify what some of these symptoms may be? Okay, so this could be a headache. This could be sickness, she's looking very green here. This could be pain or injury, not being able to walk, a high temperature, we've got sneezing and runny nose, we've got swelling, inflammation, sometimes that's called. We've got stomach cramps or aches, pains. and we've got rashes, okay, where your skin changes. So different diseases have different symptoms, okay? Sometimes you might have a lot of symptoms. Sometimes you may not have all of the symptoms of a disease. So exactly in COVID-19, we talk about the things like the sore throat and the sickness and diarrhea, and there's loss of sense of taste, of smell, okay? But there are some people don't have any of these symptoms. Some people only have a few, okay? So everybody reacts differently to different infections. And at the bottom of the page there is a little paragraph for you to fill in with the missing words. So we've got the words viruses, ill, infectious, bacteria and reproducing. So pause the video, see if you can fill those in, and I'll go over those words in a minute. So diseases cause the human body to stop working properly. Some diseases are caused by microorganisms such as, and these can be either way around, bacteria and viruses, or viruses and bacteria, getting into our bodies and reproducing, making us feel ill. Diseases caused by these microbes are often called infectious because they can pass from one person to another. Next lesson, we're going to be looking at the structure of bacteria and viruses in detail and how they reproduce. Thank you.